Yay Networks.
You know, a lot of people are scared to keep it real once that microphone cuts on. Not me. My name is D1. I'd like to welcome you to the Mission Vision Podcast with D1. We're going to be talking about everything. Oh, I'm talking about God, purpose, spirituality, keeping it real, you know what I mean? Love, relationships. I'm talking about personal finance, getting your money right, keeping your money right, growing and multiplying and keeping it really, really, really real. And much more, y'all. All from your boy D1. Let's get it. Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy D1, and I'd like to welcome you to Mission Vision with D1. You heard me? This is the podcast. Today's episode, I've been waiting to talk about this for a long time. It's called The Hypocrisy in Hip Hop. Oh, man, it's going to rub some people the wrong way, but they might have needed that rub. So let's get into it, y'all. I'm a hip-hop artist, and I understand that I am in an industry that is full of hypocrisy. So much about the industry of hip-hop music, the music that's being made, the fans, and it's just so much hypocrisy that's all embedded into this. So let's jump into it from three different angles today. We're going to talk about from an artist standpoint, from the fans' standpoint, and from the media outlets and record label standpoint, all right? So this first segment, let's talk about from an artist standpoint. What's so hypocritical about hip-hop if you're an artist? Well, we are everything that is wrong with the world. We are glorifying everything that is wrong with the world. That's what I meant to say. We are glorifying everything that's wrong with the world, with our communities. We are not narrating it. We're not just talking about this stuff, but oftentimes as artists, we're glorifying this in our music. And we'll be the same people that'll turn around and be super upset when these problems like this, like how can you make music glorifying drug dealing? Like how? How? When you have a problem with drugs being rampant in our community and people ODing and people going to jail for selling drugs and whatnot. How can you have artists that feel comfortable? Even, there's like a subgenre of rap that's called, I think it's called coke rap. You know what I'm saying? That nowadays I remember I clicked on and I was looking at a show where they were debating like what are the best cocaine rap songs of all time and whatnot. And I was just like, man, this is everything that's wrong with our community right now. We're sitting here on a national platform debating what are the best cocaine rap songs of all time. Like, man, it couldn't get more hypocritical than that type of stuff. For me, being a hip hop artist, I often consume music nowadays with a different ear than before I was an artist. When I was just a fan, I was a little more green to the intentions of these artists who are making this stuff. So I wanna read something or spit something to y'all that I recently wrote. It's really a feature on a song that'll be coming out soon, but I'm gonna spit it kind of like a spoken word poem. So I say, it's wicked times in this world, let me make that clear. God speaking straight to us, but we cannot hear. We distracted by the music, it's the truth we fear. Captivated by Satan's lies, the end is near. These people got no vision, but we blind enough to wait for it. They selling us death, we lining up to pay for it. Man, it's time to start healing each other. We the only race profiting off killing each other. Y'all, think about that. These people are selling us death, and we lining up to pay for it. But the ones that are selling us the death are the artists. So when I think about it from an artist standpoint, it's just like, yo, what is it that makes us still feel comfortable making music and putting music out there, putting messages out there into the atmosphere, into the universe, into the world, you know what I mean, that are clearly glorifying killing. One of the saddest parts is when I see an artist get killed. And unfortunately, when fans want to memorialize that artist, when they want to pay their respects to that artist by bumping their music, it is such a hypocritical dynamic to have to hear fans mourning the loss of an artist who just got murdered. And by playing that artist's music, they're basically playing music that is rapping about exactly what just happened. They're playing music where that artist is rapping about either killing other people or shooting other people or just this whole violent lifestyle, man. And it's just heartbreaking to me. Like, I'm to that point in life where I could say it is heartbreaking to me to see this hypocritical dynamic exist right in front of my face. And to be an artist, I definitely came into the game saying, I want to be the change that I would like to see. So I want to do that to the best of my ability, as bold as I can. And I want to do it and be so dope at being different that it inspires other people to say, yo, maybe I could take a different approach with my craft. You know, like that's explicitly one of the reasons why I came in the game. As artists, I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what will make an artist want to glorify drug usage or disrespecting women, killing people. What'll make somebody want to glorify that stuff? Clearly, the pursuit of money. Definitely, the pursuit of money will make a lot of artists do this. Even just the pursuit of being accepted by fans. Like nowadays, being popular is more important than even making money off of your craft for a lot of artists who are coming into the game. And it's sad and it's really upsetting to me when I see these artists who really are not living like this. Like they're not even living like this. So it's like, yo, it's one thing if it's like, bro, you just a savage. Like you just a straight up savage, bro. Like you out here living like that. And I wish that you weren't living like that. But you know what? What you're rapping about, like that's actually you. But Jadakiss said it on his song Why, his infamous song Why. He said, why do rappers lie in 85% of their rhymes? You know what I mean? And Jadakiss, I think that ever since you made that song, I think it's gone up even more, bro. It's at least 90% now. It's at least gone up a little bit. Just like inflation makes things go up, that line in hip hop, that capping in hip hop, it definitely has been inflated some. So why are artists lying in like 90% of their rhymes, yo? It's for acceptance. It's for validation, you know, from their peers and from fan bases. And it's also because they feel like that's what's gonna make money. So I have a line in one of my most iconic songs that I've ever written. And I say that because I wrote this song back in college. And to this day, it's still the song that I end all of my live performances doing. It's called One Man Army. And in that song, One Man Army, I say, what do I say? It's in the third verse. I say, my pen is my gat, a mask and a vest, plus I'm dressed in all black, with God by my side, so no man can harm me. This is the story of a one-man army. I say, it's a lonely walk when your only comrade's invisible. God, I know you're with me, but I wish that you were physical. So I remain lyrical, battling these men with the power of the tongue and the ink from my pen. Lord, tell me, how much change can one man make? I need to know, how much pain can one man take? I learned I can't change people, I just gotta pray for them. So when I get to heaven, can I open up the gates for them? Living ain't easy, believe me, I know it well. We surrounded by sex, drugs, guns, and jail cells. And they say if I don't glorify that, I won't sell. But a lot of rappers glorify that and don't sell. You know what I mean? A lot of rappers glorify these things and still don't sell. You still not guaranteed to go platinum or to go gold or to even get 1 million streams on a song or 1 million views on a video on YouTube just because you're glorifying sex, drugs, money, murder. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not guaranteed to do that. But so many rappers, especially the younger rappers, feel like that's what they have to do. And I just want to debunk that myth, you know, because it's leading to a lot of hypocrisy in hip hop. A lot of the older artists, there's absolutely no excuse, man. When you are a person that's been blessed enough, come on, let's talk about it. You've been blessed enough by God to survive the trenches, to survive the music industry, to become successful, to be a family man, to be financially stable and all this stuff. And you knowing that you're not living like that at this point, but when you still feel like that's what your fans want to hear from you, that's a very insecure, scary place to exist as an artist. Very much so. And I know a lot of artists who, like I've had some intelligent conversations with artists. We'll be sitting in the studio like this and we talking about all kind of stuff, man. Talking about just investments and talking about family life, talking about spirituality, all this stuff. And literally as soon as the engineer says, hey, I'm ready for you, go in the booth and spit your verse now. I've seen this artist, and this is an icon who, by hip hop standards, who I'm referring to, go in the booth and literally everything that we just talked about, man, they get in the booth and it's like they spit the exact opposite of everything we were talking about. And they just in there, I'm talking about the most ignorant music you'll ever want to hear in your life. And they in there spitting it. And I'm just like, man. And instead of being shocked at this point, I'm just more or less disappointed. That's it. It's just more or less disappointed because some people, when you see that they know better, you expect them to do better. And I'm passionate about the impact that hip hop has as a teaching tool in our community, especially in the Black community, because a dude tried to tell me the other day, and I'm cool with this dude. Shout out to my boy. I'm not to the point where I want to say names yet on my podcast and be calling people out. But I don't mean anything bad by this. But we talking, and I'm pulling up this text message. He said he had a question. Oh, so I have a new album out called Finding Balance. And on that album, I have a song called J50 and Weezy Part 2, right? And he said he loved the album. He said he give it 5 stars. The lyrics and the production is official and all this stuff. He just bumped it in his car for the last hour and all this stuff. He said really just one question. So on my song J50 and Weezy Part 2, and I did Part 1 10 years ago, by the way. So this is like the 10-year update. He said the verse about 50 Cent. He said, what's wrong with him selling what's wrong with him selling liquor but doesn't drink? He said liquor is legal. And I said, bro, he said a guy who owns a few Burger Kings but doesn't eat meat but still sells a lot of burgers, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I said, yeah, but as artists, we sell lifestyle. I said, we can't want people to think that we're real, but we rap about or sell things that we don't really do. So as artists, we're not just making music, we're not just selling burgers, we're literally selling a lifestyle to people. And it takes to be an artist to know and truly understand that. Some people, my boy isn't an artist, so he doesn't quite understand that concept. And I said, that just proves that it's all about money for him. I said, which is fine if that's what he's about. I said, and that's what I said in the song. Like, for some people, this whole industry is just about money. It's just a money grab for them. And, you know, as artists overall, I think that we have to be, we got to be conscious about the role we're playing in the hypocrisy of hip hop. So that's a wrap for segment number 1. When we come back from this quick break, we're going to have segment number 2, and we're going to talk about the role that fans play in the hypocrisy inside of hip hop. This is Mission Vision with D1. All right, we back, y'all. It's Mission Vision with D1. This the podcast that I've been waiting to talk about this, yo. We're talking about hypocrisy inside of hip-hop. Now, the first segment, we talked about the role that artists play. This segment, we're going to talk about the role that fans play. I was once just a fan of hip-hop, and I didn't realize that by consuming the music that is everything that's wrong with this world. And by me consuming the music that watches artists, whether those artists are intentionally doing this or whether they're just followers and they're unintentionally just glorifying this negativity, by me consuming it and me not taking a stand and saying, yo, that's everything that's wrong with the world, I'm not about to glorify that. By me doing that, I was playing a role in the hypocrisy of hip hop as well. Ladies, we love y'all. We love y'all intensely, but man, we got to talk about this, ladies. If you are cool with dancing to and reciting the lyrics to songs that are blatantly disrespecting you, and you would have a problem with a male telling you those same lyrics in front of your face, if it wasn't with the beat behind it, if it wasn't in the club or wasn't in the car, and you bumping, if you would have a problem with a dude telling you that, if you would want to fight him or slap him or get into it with him, then you're a hypocrite. You part of the hypocrisy inside of hip-hop. We still love you, though. But that's a big, big, big dynamic. You know, ladies are the most loyal supporters. Shout out to all the ladies. Like, women are the most loyal supporting base inside of hip-hop. So when women are consuming much of this music that is degrading them and disrespecting them, that's a problem. Ooh, that's a big problem, yo. And so if the ladies would start to understand the power that you have in this whole dynamic right here, that would be a game changer, because a lot of women say, it's just the beat. I'm just listening to the beat. It's just the beat of the song that I like and whatnot. And shout out to all the dope producers out there because a lot of these beats are dope. But we can't divorce the lyrics from the beat. We can't. We can't. And if so, then just listen to the instrumental, sweetheart. You heard me? Just listen to the instrumental. Just go on YouTube or just go somewhere and just download the instrumentals. But when you are choosing to take this as a package, that's like if you got a child and somebody is like, look, I'm just into you. I'm not into your baby. You heard me? I'm not into your child. Then you're like, no, we're a package deal. Like you can't have me without my child coming along and being a part of this. And that's how the lyrics and the beats of songs are. So you can't say, well, nah, I'm just in it for just the beat. These lyrics oftentimes are so deplorable and so destructive and degrading towards y'all that it's like, come on, man. Like, are y'all gonna stand up? As fans, you know, we got to ask ourselves. And a lot of women, I mean, some women will use that whole it's the beat argument, but a lot of women, y'all know the lyrics word for these songs. Like straight up, y'all know the lyrics. And it's something when you see women spit the lyrics, I'm talking about with the oomph and with the emphatic nature of like you would swear that they wrote the lyrics. Like they literally spit it with the swag and with the aura and with the conviction. That's the word I was looking for. With the conviction of the artist himself. And it's like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. You feeling that, huh, man? Like, all right, now let somebody tell you that in front of your face. You know you'll get mad. You know that you'll be ready to fight that person, or you'll feel disrespected, or you'll want to call a dude, perhaps, who you know to stand up for you because you felt disrespected. But you won't call a dude to turn that song off for you when you hear it playing. You won't call a dude to come and pick you up and get you out of this environment where this music is prevalent, you know, and you might be chilling in this space. But you'll call a dude to come and want to fight or get into it and fuss at another dude that's disrespecting you to your face and telling you that same type of stuff. You know, we got to ask ourselves, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? As far as us celebrating people who got killed by listening to, more of their music about glorifying, murder. We got to ask ourselves, man, as fans, like how bad is that? What it really shows is that we don't care about these artists. You know, we don't care about these artists. We're not really mourning their death a lot of times. We're mourning the fact that they can't entertain us anymore. If we really wanted to do right by somebody who we really had love for, then we would try to ensure that this doesn't happen anymore. You know, we would try to honor them in ways other than perpetuating, what they had going on. I don't see us. As fans, like it's crazy, and we can't even blame the media for this. As fans, our way of like keeping somebody's name alive is bumping their music, but it's that same music that contributes to ultimately the mindset that goes into more people continuing to live violent lifestyles, and that's tough right there. That's really tough when I hear that. As a fan, I've been guilty of that. So when we talk about the hypocrisy inside of hip hop, I've been guilty of it. You know, all this whole issue as I'm speaking about it, it really boils down to what has to happen in our hearts to where we really are fed up with the end result of what this music, especially this negative, destructive music, brings about. You know, do we place us being entertained over the negative lifestyles that this continues to glorify, or the negative results that this continues to contribute towards? Ask yourself that. Do we value us being entertained? And the answer is yes. Overwhelmingly, the answer is yes. We value us being entertained over the negative lifestyle that this music glorifies, or the negative results that this music ends up leading to. That's tough right there. That's tough. That's tough to accept that. And hopefully this podcast, hopefully discussions even after this podcast can contribute to us saying, you know what? Sometimes we got to do the right thing. We got to do what's right, even if it doesn't feel right to us. Like, even if it's not something we want to do, but we know deep down that it's right, sometimes we got to do that because it's bigger than us. And trust me, if you're still alive, if you watching or listening to this podcast right now, then you're still here. But there's people who aren't here anymore, and they aren't here anymore because the music that they were listening to, the music that they were making, something contributed to them ultimately not being here anymore. And at some point, we have to say, even though that didn't happen to me, the fact that that happened to someone else, I don't want to continue to be a champion of the music that contributed to it. So as fans, if we supported something different, and you have no excuse as a fan, you can't say nowadays, well, nobody's making any music with a message in it. Man, whatever you're looking for in hip hop, it exists nowadays. And it's one quick Apple Music or Spotify or YouTube search away. Like, there are artists who are making every type of hip hop specifically. In that little verse that I spit for y'all, I said, man, it's time to start healing each other. We the only race profiting off killing each other. My fellow black people, why are we the only race that literally profits off of killing one another? Literally. We've made killing one another into an industry. We've made it into a genre, a subgenre of music that brings about profits. And I can't look at white people. I can't look at Hispanic people. I can't look at other races and say that they have like profited off of killing one another. And it's sad when we think about that. It's sad. And the pursuit of money or the desire to get out of poverty shouldn't override what we're having to do to get there. Because the money is never worth having to, step on people's faces or literally watch people get killed and see an early grave just to say, well, I got rich off of that. I got rich off. Man, they got people who glorify getting rich off of like making murder music or making cocaine rap, and they glorify that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just not, I don't know. People are selling us death and we lining up to pay for it. I'm going to end this segment off with that bar. These people are selling us death. Selling us death. And we're lining up to pay for it. Think about if this was a cafeteria and they're like, yo, this pill right here, oh, this is death. This is death. This is death as well, And we're like, oh, word? I bet. But we don't see it as death. So that's why we're lining up to pay for it. But that line is long. It's millions of people in that line lining up to pay for it. Next segment, I see y'all. We're going to talk about the role that media outlets and record labels play in the hypocrisy inside of hip-hop. It's your boy D1. This the podcast, Mission Vision with D1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we back. We at the Mission Vision podcast with D1. And right now we talking about hypocrisy inside of hip-hop. You heard me? So far, I talked about the role that artists play. I talked about the role that fans play. Now we're going to talk about the role that record labels and media outlets play as far as the hypocrisy inside of hip-hop. I've said this in a song before, how media outlets will perpetuate beef. They will build beef up between artists, and they'll talk about the beef, and they'll plant seeds that allow artists to keep beefing with each other. But then there'll be the same people that say we need to stop the violence as soon as somebody gets killed. These media outlets are all about clicks. These clicks is how they generate money and they generate revenue. So for them, they have an agenda oftentimes. They literally have an agenda. You got very few people who own their own media outlets who are saying, hey, I get to control the narrative here. So even if I cover this stuff, I'm covering it from a standpoint of wanting to be a peacemaker or wanting to be a teacher. Very few people. And when I say very few, I mean less than 5%. Most of these media outlets, it's definitely about clicks. It's definitely about clickbait. And it's definitely about, it ain't our fault. They the ones beefing with each other. They the ones doing this. We just covering the story, So that's always going to be the mindset for people who are just like, hey, this is just our industry that we're in. We're just here to report and cover what's going on. It's sad. It's sad. Record labels. I used to be signed to a major record label. I have seen with my own two eyes an employee from the record label legit make 50 phone calls to radio stations all around the country to advocate for a song getting played, right? So they have to call the program directors from these stations and advocate like, hey, our artist just dropped this single. How y'all doing? How y'all looking? Are y'all able to promote it? Are y'all able to push it? Can we get some more radio spins? And this song, this had to be one of the most overt cocaine rap songs ever. This is a real story. And the artist, he put this song out, and the song ended up blowing up and becoming huge. I'm sure most of y'all know it. If I was to say the song, and maybe as I get deeper into the podcast, I'll start naming names and all that type of stuff. But I'm not doing this stuff to be salacious, or I'm not ever doing this stuff for the fact of like, oh, wow, like dang, D1 said this. But I have literally seen it to where, I kind of, I'm debating right now if I should say the song, at least the song name, to where people know. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. But I might still say it. But I've seen an employee make all these phone calls and advocate for this song to get played. And then, as soon as they finish hanging the phone up from calling all these radio stations around the country, I was sitting in their office at the time. They looked at me and they said, D, I freaking hate that song. And I would not let my kids listen to that song. And I was looking at them and they were like, I'm doing my job though. Like, this is part of the job that I don't like. And I had someone sit there and tell me that. And I was just thinking in my head, like, man, it sucks to be you, because if I had a job to where I had to do stuff that I was that morally opposed to, and I had to push this stuff and advocate for this artist and for this message that I'm like staunchly opposed to, that would really suck. And I realized that a lot of these employees at these labels, they either don't have the moral compass that we would think that they would have, to where they even separate it. They separate the message from the artist, or they just look at it like, hey, it's just a job. This artist is just performing a task. I know, but I know that people know the difference when they say, I'll push this so that other people's kids can hear this all on the radio all day, but my kids will not be listening to that station. My kids will not be listening to that artist. Man, that's tough right there. That's tough, and that's very hypocritical. That's extremely hypocritical right there. Because knowing that somebody else's kids all around the country are going to become programmed by this type of music. And, that sucks right there. As far as record labels, most people who work at record labels, they do not worship the devil, contrary to popular belief. They're not in the Illuminati or anything like that. They're simply just capitalists, and it's just all about getting a dollar for them. So we have to ask ourselves, at what point does getting a dollar not outweigh, doing something that we know is morally right? And that is part of what this podcast is about, is like, how do we understand what's morally right versus what's not morally right? Like what's the standard? You know what I mean? That's why I know that God is real, because God has to exist for there to be a standard of what's morally good versus what's morally bad. You know what I mean? There would be no such thing as this is right, this is wrong, or anything if there was no standard. And God's existence and God being love, God literally embodying love, that becomes the standard of like, okay, how did God design this to be utilized? How did God design this talent to be utilized? How did God design this? Because everything comes from God. So we have to ask ourselves, have we taken things and perverted them? Have we taken things and pimped them out for our own benefit and for our own use? That's not a way that God designed it to be for. And a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to have that conversation. But me being in the music industry, I came into this game understanding that I'm not supposed to fit in. I'm not supposed to have everybody like me. And I'm supposed to ruffle some feathers. And as long as I'm doing it with God as the foundation for why I'm doing it. As long as I'm doing it for that purpose and not just doing it to be different, or just to be the rebel or the outcast, but as long as I'm doing it with God at the foundation and truly understanding that this is how God would want me to move in this instance or in that instance, then I'm cool with it. And I just really wish that more artists would have that mindset when they're making their music. If you're an atheist and you don't believe in God at all, then you know what? I can't really tell you what kind of music to make or what kind of moral compass to have. But all these artists who make this music glorifying drug dealing, glorifying killing, glorifying just disrespecting women, man, if you believe in God, which most of y'all, 98% of y'all claim that y'all do, man, I need that moral compass to kind of come into effect. You know what I mean? Because we are reaching the masses with our music. At least the more successful artists, we're reaching the masses with our music. And even if you're not reaching the masses, you're reaching someone. You're reaching someone, yo, and that influence is real. So, I just implore the artists to be conscious of that. That would be my wish for everyone. As a fan, my wish for fans is that you don't divorce yourself from the role that you play as a fan in artists being able to make this music, in artists being able to do packed out concerts and get millions and millions of streams because of the support from fans. Trust and believe that if fans were not supporting this type of music, if fans took a stand against this, then artists would stop making this music, because these artists want to succeed commercially. These artists want to make money. They want to be successful. If no one is supporting this, or if very few people are supporting this, you'll be surprised how many of these artists are just like, nah, man, I just want to rap about killing. I just want to rap about killing people. Come on, I got to do it, even if nobody listening. Man, these artists going to jump off of that bandwagon so quick, I promise you. They're going to be like, all right, I guess I'll make some girl songs now. All right, I guess I'll just make, I'll make some other type of music now. So fans, that would be my wish for you. And lastly, as far as record labels and as far as media outlets, same thing. My wish for you would be that you don't divorce yourself from the fact that somebody's kids are being impacted by this music that deep down, many of you all have a problem with. And it's very hypocritical if you don't want your kids to hear this, but you don't mind promoting this and pushing this so that someone else's kids hear this and are impacted by this. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is D1. This is the Mission Vision Podcast with D1. I thank y'all for tuning in week after week. Every Monday, new episodes drop, you heard me? So you might as well just get it in your head. Mission Vision Monday. Every Monday, you heard me? It's the Mission Vision Podcast with D1. I just ultimately want you to be a better version of yourself as I continue to strive to be a better version of myself. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Please go ahead on and hit that follow button on Spotify podcast. Whatever you got to do to get tuned in so that you automatically just know, like, yo, that's a part of my rotation when I'm listening to my podcast. Go ahead on and do that. Follow me on all social media at D1 Music, DEE, the number one music. My most current album that you can go check out is Finding Balance, but feel free to go check anything else out in my catalog. I stand on everything I'm saying right here on this podcast. And this episode meant a lot to me today, because this is an issue that is very near and dear to my heart, because I'm a hip-hop baby, and hip-hop taught me a lot in life. Some of the lessons were good, and some of the lessons were destructive and negative. And I've had to live through the positive and negative consequences of that. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next time, all right? Peace. It's your boy Uno. Be real, be righteous, be relevant. Yeah. All right, now, that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I got some more heat for y'all. This your boy D1 with the Mission Vision Podcast. Remember, Mission Vision is a lifestyle, so keep those threes up everywhere you go and be real, be righteous, and be relevant. Make sure that you subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, whatever you got to do on Spotify, whatever. Like, comment, share this thing everywhere, and most of all, tell somebody about it and tune in, and you just be blessed. I'll see you real soon. Peace.